Today we had Ricky Carruth. He sells over 100 homes a year and has been doing so since 2014. He's a trainer, a speaker, a coach. He's got a free coaching, that's 0 to Diamond is his coaching group. And I thought it was a really good podcast. Ricky answered a lot of questions. I pushed him on, his thoughts behind paid coaching. He's been very out front on that and on Instagram and why he doesn't believe people should be using paid coaches. So I tried to push him as much, and I thought Ricky was very open. I appreciated his time, and I hope you enjoy this podcast. Hey, Ricky, glad you had some time. Appreciate your time to join us. I've got to admit something here, and I know this happens to me all the time when people, probably way more to me than it happens to you, by the way. The first time I saw one of your videos, I stopped and I said, who the is this guy? And I'm telling you, this happens probably 90% of the time when people see anything that I put out there. So who is Ricky Carruth?
I guess an easy way to say it is just one of the baddest people on the planet. I'll outwork you. I'm really good at, figuring out what I can do to help people. And when you combine intentions with work ethic, man, it's just when you really, really want the best for people and you outwork everyone trying to help as many people as you can, you win. I mean, you're just going to be the winner. You may lose a couple battles, but you're going to win the war. That's the good thing. I know where I'm going to be in 5 years, 10 years, I can see that. A lot of people kind of look at a 1 year, span, and that's just too short term. I don't really care what I do in a year. You don't know what you're going to do in a year. You have zero control over what you do in 1 year. You have much more control over what you do over a 5 or 10 year period. You have much more control of that. So I like to control what I can control and not worry about what I can't, and outwork everyone to see, it all comes down to who's going to help the most people, So that's just it, man. I just love what I do, and I just keep pushing to get better every day.
And right now, if you're in real estate, you're screaming pretty loud at the top of the mountains about your coaching angle and the coaching that you're providing for free. Is free coaching scalable, and why are you going that route?
Well, it's the only way if you really want to if you really want to change the industry. There's two paths there. It's like, do you want to try to make money, or do you want to change the industry? And see, the funny thing is when you try to change the industry, you make more money. So chasing the money makes you less money, and you don't really have you can't change the industry on the same level. So free coaching enables me to reach, I don't know, 1 million times more people because they're susceptible to free. See, the thing about free is a lot of people stay free, and then once then people are interested. And then once they get inside, they realize he's trying to charge me for something on the back end.
Yeah. Where's the hook?
It's not really free. That's kind of just tricking people. See, when you really have good intentions, and then you advertise free, and then you really are free, because people see free, so they're intrigued, and they enter, they walk in the door, and when they get inside, if it's what was advertised, then they're very happy, and then they continue that relationship. But if they get inside and it was false advertisement, it's not really free, then they have a bad taste in their mouth. So that's why I'm free, is because I want as many people to walk through that door as possible and be happy and continue that relationship with me for decades.
So if someone does decide to walk through that door, how does it work? I'm walking through the door. I want some free coaching. I want coaching. I want to be held accountable. How does that work?
You walk in the door and you start a 90-day action plan. I lay out exactly the most efficient way to build your business. No buyer leads, no expensive things, the very cheapest, most efficient actions you can possibly take based on how I built my business. So there's a 90-day action plan, which starts with a course. Okay. You take the course that takes you however long you want to take, but the course will introduce you to my core principles and why I do things I do and how I do it and what you need to be thinking about, and kind of prepares you for war. Because the next phase of the 90 days is a 28-day challenge, which is very hardcore. And you get a text message for 28 days straight with your video and instructions on what to do that day. So you take a course, you do the 28 days, and then through that, you mold what I do into what works best for you. And then you just complete the rest of the 90 days. And then at that point, as far as accountability, you post your results every day in the Facebook group. It's a public Facebook group. And then once you complete the 90 days, you email me and we get on a call. So I'll do a coaching call with everybody that completes the 90-day action plan to talk about what happened through the 90 days, what went good, what went bad, what you're having problems with, and what your goals are. And I try to help you visualize what you need to do day to day to hit those big, scary 5-year goals.
So that's in the scalable part of it. That's got to be the hardest part, because I mean, I see a lot of people that are jumping into your classes and in your course here. So how can you do 100 deals a year? How can you spend the time getting on a call for free, literally with thousands of people? Like, how are you actually doing that and pulling it off?
Well, it's a couple things. Let's look at it from the standpoint of the 100 deals a year. Okay. I do nothing I do nothing to create that business at this point. I haven't made a cold call in 4 years. Why? Because I built my brand through a weekly email that I've sent out every single Wednesday since 2007. And so because of that brand I built and the 100,000 phone calls I did make to build a brand with those people, business just comes to me. See, this is what you want. You want a business of attraction where people just come to you to buy and sell, right? If you're a salesperson, you're just as good as your last sale. You got to go sell again and again. When you build personal brand, you're not in the sales business. So I've built a brand in my real estate business, and I have an automatic machine, which is the weekly email. And because of the weekly email, it affords me all the time to go build other businesses and do other things and still sell 100 properties a year. Because all I do is go show property here and there, sign a few contracts, go do some closings, help people when they call me, buy and sell what they want to buy and sell. It's just 2 deals a week. It's really not a lot when you really sit down and think about it. The flip side is how am I handling all these calls? 30,000 agents have signed up for Zero to Diamond, and less than 80 have completed the 90 days and had a call with me. And that's over the last couple of years.
Less than 80 agents.
80 agents is all. Now I've got thousands of testimonials, and I've got, thousands of screenshots of DMs and, messages where people are, nailing listings and finding a lot of success with the principles and all this and that. And what I'm guessing is that people are just taking it and kind of starting it and then kind of molding it into what they want, what works for them. And I guess they don't feel like they're completing it exactly the way it is. So they're not reaching out for that call, or I don't know what it is, to be honest.
And unless they do those specific guidelines that you've set up, they're not getting that call. You've got to hit these measures in the 90 days or there.
Yeah, exactly. 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 I mean, if somebody comes in and they're finding great success and they're doing the weekly email and they're making their calls, and they go through 90 days of that and they're finding a lot of success, that is the 90 days. I mean, if you get in there and you find what works for you, set up a call with me. So it's not as much as you think. It's not as hard as you think. And there again, we talk about scalability. It has enabled me to scale. So it's put me in a position where I'm able to really change the industry and help the industry in such a positive way. Without killing myself.
Well, and I appreciate you being so open, because I think a lot of people, one, they'll get the impression that I got the first time I saw you, like, who is this, right? But then two, when you start to dig in, you're like, man, how does he really have the time? You're reacting and engaging with all comments. So it's not just the calls that you've got coming through your class or your course rather in the 100 deals, but it's all of this put together. I mean, I think about the 100 deals. I know what goes into 100 deals. you've got to have some staff helping you support there. You say it's only 2 deals a week. I get that, but it's the whole transaction, the inspection, the process. Do you have a staff behind you that's helping either from a transaction coordinator standpoint or administratively?
Just one assistant.
One assistant, 100 deals, and that's one assistant for content and transactions.
I do all the content.
Editing, everything.
Well, no, I have now as far as content, now that's a different business, see social media, I don't really use it for real estate. All right. I'm just building a brand in the real estate industry. And I'll branch into other industries, momentarily, but, I've got a company, High Key Agency in Canada, Winnipeg, Canada, that they actually edit a lot of my videos. So I'm more of I produce the content in terms of, for example, this podcast and, videos of me speaking, videos of me, selling properties or doing whatever. And I went through the process of editing everything myself. I went through the process of having an in-house person. I went through the process of, I've done a lot. I've tried a lot of things. This company that I'm using now, I've been with them about a year, I guess, and they're really good, and really like the work that they do for me. And so, yeah, I've got somebody editing a lot of my content. I'm still editing some of it. I would say maybe 10%, but I post everything. They might edit it, but I'm posting it.
So they're editing the content. You're transferring the file over to them. They're transferring it back to you in some fashion. And then you're posting everything. I mean, just on TikTok, I think you're posting, 4 or 5 times a day, and you're obliterating Instagram and all of these platforms. I mean, that right there, just creating the copy, positioning your content, the distribution of it, that takes up a lot of time too.
It does, man. It does. But that you have to look at the risk reward. That's what you have to look at with your actions. See, everything that I do is calculated, and everything that I do is I'm like I said from the beginning. I look at it on a 5-year basis. I say, okay, posting on social medias, on all the different social medias every day. Okay, that doesn't look exciting today or next month or in a couple months. Not a lot's going to change. I might go from 40,000 to 45,000 subscribers. Nothing earth shattering. But when you take a look at the longer picture of what that does for you over a 5-year period, and you say, wow, I could be there in 5 years, it changes the way you look at your actions. So yeah, I mean, it does take a lot of time, and it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of thought, but I look at the 5-year payoff and I say, this is 100x, so I don't know. You have to look at the risk reward.
You got on TikTok pretty early. What convinced you that was the right move you're doing 100 deals a year off of an email list. So I'd imagine, and where you are on the Panhandle waterfront property, I'd imagine a lot of your clientele isn't on TikTok. You're using social media not for your real estate business. So what convinced you TikTok was worth as much time as you're putting into it right now?
It's like when you're cold calling property owners, right? You cold call property owners. They own houses at, $300,000 homes, patio homes built by, bulk builder. And you call those owners, and a lot of people, when they're doing things like this, they look at those situations and they say, I'm gonna call this owner. I'm trying to get listings. All right, I'm trying to get listings. But the way I look at that situation is I'm trying to create a relationship and get a conversation going to see where that leads me, because that person might own 3 more houses, or they might want to buy a commercial property, or they may have some lots, or they may be a developer, or they may know a developer. I want to create this relationship and get this conversation going and make them feel comfortable with me to see where that goes. It's the same thing with TikTok. I don't know where that's going, right? I just know I want to start the conversation, start the process, and see where it leads to. any platform that you can get on and create relationships with people based on who you are, you never know where that's going to lead. I mean, these apps are global. These people are all over the world, all over the country that you're connecting with or seeing your content. And, I get hundreds of DMs on Instagram every week, of people in people in high school and college asking for help, wondering if they should become a real estate agent, wondering if they should invest in stocks, all kinds of stuff. So how does that help you, Ricky? Well, it goes back to what I said when you asked me who Ricky Carruth is. I'm just here to help people, and who's going to help the most people. So I saw that as an avenue to get people to reach out to me asking for help, and that I will in turn help them for asking nothing in return. Where's that going to lead to? We'll see in 5 years. I don't know, but it's going to be somewhere massive.
And helping people and helping people along your journey of making a significant change or changing, I think you said, the real estate industry. What specifically needs to be changed in our industry?
Well, there's been a very lopsided, there's been the training has been very lopsided in terms of these very, legendary coaches who've never really sold real estate, which doesn't mean anything, by the way. People use that and say, oh, they never sold real estate. I think it means something. I mean, why would I listen to someone who never sold real estate? At the same time, it doesn't mean somebody that's never sold real estate can't tell you how to do something. But
I mean, to your point, you're giving business advice on other businesses outside of real estate, right?
Well, the deeper issue is that you got to look and see what they're training the agents, right? So when you look at it, it all comes down to communications. How are we communicating with prospects? And when you look at the big name coaches and you look at their scripts and you look at what they're teaching agents, they're basically teaching agents to go out there and basically see what the prospect can do for the agent. Hey, Mr. Prospect, will you sell your house so I can make some money? Right? And if you can't, then okay, I ain't worried about you anymore. Who do you know that might help me make some money? And the agent comes in and they follow these scripts and coaching programs to a T, and then they don't sell anything, and they wonder what I did wrong. I worked hard. I followed exactly what my coach told me to do. And the coach is just making money and just going through the program, just kind of, going through the motions. And they're not really teaching the agents how to communicate who they are as an agent, which is somebody that cares about people and is a hard worker and wants the best for people. They're coming off to their prospects completely different. They're coming off to their prospects as a salesperson that's just out to get them and list their property and don't really care about them. But that's not really who they are, but that's who they sound like they are. So what I'm trying to do is get in there and teach agents how to effectively communicate the fact that we are good people. We do want the best for them. We don't care if they want to buy or sell today. We just want to help them when they do. And we want to create that relationship. So it's a complete 180 from what mainstream training is doing. And I'm just trying to make this go mainstream so that we can save the industry. We can help some of these agents that would have otherwise gotten tied up into some program that, made prospects run away from them instead of become attracted to them.
And inside of our industry, real estate, or really you can go into any industry, you can go to life coaching. I mean, there's a million life coaches on every corner. I think in every industry though, or every segment, there are a lot of bad coaches, to your point, but there are also some good coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that in our industry too, in real estate. I think even some of the legendary coaches, there are some really good ones. There are some people that have been around a long time, to your point, that are getting paid to coach that aren't really bringing any value, or they're providing something that's 20 years old. Do you believe there are coaches out there that are charging, that are doing the right thing? Do you believe in paid coaching at all?
I don't know, man. I'm conflicted with it, really. Because it's a catch-22 for me. I mean, I don't want to knock anybody's business model. I mean, I'm making money coaching, so I'm making money. I'm just not charging the agents. So I'm not,
like sponsorships or speaking and that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
book sales, YouTube, all that stuff. But at the same time, I mean, hey, I put 6 figures a year into the coaching business with zero return for several years and countless hours of making videos, all just geared towards trying to help agents. And good things happen to good people that the intentions are in the right place. Good things are going to happen. But there are some coaches that I like as people, but when I look at their programs and I look at their scripts, I think, man, that is just so bad. I don't really know of a coach, to be honest with you. Now, I really don't know of a coach that teaches what I teach. I haven't found a coach that isn't coaching the high pressure, will you sell your house? If you're not interested now, then not worried about you kind of deal. Now, I think that I have influenced the coaching industry a little, and I've seen bits and pieces of what I do in other coaches' content here and there. But I haven't seen a full out program that I just think, wow, they really get it. You know what I mean? So it's not that they're paid. I don't really have a problem with the paid part. It's just what they're teaching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And listen, I would agree with you in the sense that I do a problem. There are lots of real estate coaches. I mean, I think people tend to only know of a few names out there, but there are hundreds of coaches in our industry. A lot of them that are, still doing, not today in these times, right, but still doing road shows office to office to sell their program. There's a lot of people that don't have that are out there coaching people and training people on how to market and brand position themselves and have no brand equity at all in their own space.
Yeah.
There's a lot of levels to it, but I want to get off the coaching. I think, certainly you believe in what you're doing, and, I honor that. I do believe there are some big coaches out there that I think are doing things really well. I do want to ask you, because it's certainly on everybody's mind that's been in real estate for a number of years, the draw to EXP. About 2 months ago, I watched a video of yours where you had said you had no reason to leave RE/MAX. You had been there for quite some time, and I do believe you did within those 2 months since I've seen that video. And maybe I saw a video that was really old, so I apologize.
No, it's okay.
If that's the case. But, I do recall that video where you had said, hey, there's no reason I would leave I've been here RE/MAX for a long time. And then I do believe you made the switch to EXP. So why'd you make the switch to EXP, and what changed in, a couple month period?
Well, it was more like a year. And, those videos were geared towards the fact that brand, your company doesn't matter. It's about you as the agent, how you communicate, how you work. That's what people want, not the company brand. But I did make videos on where I wasn't going. And the reason I didn't go then was because, they weren't very impressive at all at that point. Low agent counts, very annoying recruiting, super annoying recruiting.
EXP breath, right?
Oh, it's horrible. It was horrible. And you still see a little bit of it, right? But what's so impressive now versus last year is number one, the growth, 12,000, 28,000 agents. You look at the growth and you think, okay, there's something to this, and you see how they handled it. They handled it like a champ. There wasn't much growing pains through that. So it's like, man, they have a real scalable business. And then you look at the fact that there's not a lot of annoying recruiting that was going on. They've really toned that down because the company saw that was a problem, and they made some changes, starting to train agents how to recruit right, which is bring value and connect with people, not just throw up on them or watch this video. And, they've gained a little bit better reputation, a little bit. It's went up a notch. just based on their growth and their changes in their recruiting styles. And so that'll continue to grow. The reputation is going to continue to improve. The growth is going to continue to be massive. So now they're actually proven in the market. Last year they were kind of proven, not really, annoying recruiting, but now they're like super proven. People really, really, really are attracted to it. Obviously, the market speaks on its own. The market tells you what's good or bad. You don't tell the market what's good or bad. It tells you. It's like a stock. So, Remax and I didn't get along there at the end. I just felt like very unappreciated there for a number of things that happened. And so I just decided it was time for a change. And, with EXP, it's more of it's bigger than EXP. This is a platform I'm using to continue on my mission to help the industry and help agents.
Was there any consideration? I mean, you're doing, as an individual agent, 100+ transactions a year with just you and one assistant. Was there any consideration to just going Ricky Carruth, brokerage, and just having an independent? Or was the draw to be able to use your brand to recruit people into EXP the deciding factor there? Because the fees aren't that high on EXP. You're talking an 80-20 on the first 2 to 3 million or something. So you would have saved a little bit going independent. But was there any consideration from independent broker Ricky Carruth versus joining EXP?
Zero right now, man. I mean, the process to actually start a company, and get brokered in all the states and, go through all that is horrendous. It's nothing I want to be involved in.
Even just an indie in your market, meaning just focusing on your 100+ deals as an independent broker versus.
See,
EXP.
I'm done locally, man. I've got the 100 deals going on. It's an automatic business. I'm looking global. I've been looking global, ever since I started the YouTube channel and wrote the books and started speaking. I mean, I've been to Brazil to speak. I've been thinking global from day one with the real estate coaching business. And, I'm definitely not going to take a step back. I'm going to move forward with the global, the global dominance. So
how hard has it been to reach people not going to these events? You've probably had to cancel a bunch of events right now with what we're dealing with. And how do you see that going in the future? Are you going to do more webinars? What are you doing to reach or get that global reach that you're missing out on by not speaking?
I am doing webinars. I've got actually a little tour set up where I'm doing webinars all over the country for different areas. I'll do live webinars just for their area. So I do have that in place, and this was a good thing to kind of open our eyes up to some possibilities of different things we can do on top of the physical events. But no, dude, I'm ready to get back on stage. Like, I'm ready to get out there, hit the road, get to some of these events. We had to cancel a lot of events, and but we rescheduled them, and I'm ready to get back on stage. That's where I love to be, on stage. That's one thing I really love to do is speak. And I will be doing a lot of webinars because of the reach, but also, really looking forward to get back on stage too.
I know we got to sign off here soon, and I appreciate all the time you have given. But if anybody is coming into this industry right now with what we're dealing with as a brand new agent, say you got your license on March 15th, and here you go, you're into a completely new world economically, and they don't have any past business to rely on, what would you tell a brand new agent coming in to this new world?
Same thing you tell them before the market crash. Same thing you tell them while we're going through it. Same thing they need to do when we come out of it. Same thing they need to do last year, next year, the year after. As far as real estate goes and being an agent and building that business, it boils down to who's going to talk to the most property owners in the market, period, verbally. Who's going to talk to the most property owners with the best intentions, and then build a brand with those people forever. It's real simple. People want to make it hard and complicated. Most of the people trying to make it complicated are these paid coaches. They're trying to figure out a way to scare you into thinking things are so complicated and I'm going to simplify everything if you just give me $1,000. But it's real simple. Who's going to talk to the most property owners? And I don't care where we are in the market cycle. Who's going to talk to the most with the best intentions to see what they can do to help them and to build a relationship and a brand with those people, period.
And so just calling random people in their community and introducing themselves?
Exactly. Pick a subdivision full of the exact houses you want to sell, the exact price range you want to sell in. Those are the exact clients. You can get their contact information for 2 cents with clicking a button. Did I freeze up?
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah, you collect their information for 2 cents and you go to town, man. It's better than any Zillow lead you pay a couple $100 for, Facebook lead you spend $2 to $20 for. It's better. There's nothing better than picking the exact client you want and getting their information for 2 cents and calling them, seeing how they're doing, seeing what you can do to help them, seeing if they have an agent they work with, see if it's okay to stay in touch, and just see where those conversations go. I mean, you can't tell me anything better. I would love it. I would love it if you did try to tell me something better.
No, I mean, we know 40, 50 real estate conversations equal a closing. And so if you're a new agent having conversations about real estate and introducing yourself, it has to happen before you can ever get to a closing table, for sure.
Better than open houses, better than direct mail, better than social media, better than networking events, better than anything. Nothing.
I agree with you. Conversations are the name of the game. You're not going to get to any other place in the relationship without having a conversation first. It's impossible. So
right.
I'm right there with you. Ricky, who in the industry, I know you're trying to change the industry, but it's a pretty big industry. There's a lot of people that have been here a long time doing a lot of creative things in our industry. Who in the real estate industry inspires you right now?
Right this second? Who is inspiring me? No, that I don't know, man. That is a really good one. That is a really good one. Like I said, I can't find anyone who is preaching the same stuff that I'm preaching.
Or even someone that you just have massive amounts of respect for, even if it doesn't have to be a buzzy name that everybody knows, but somebody in our industry that you just have so much respect for, and why?
If I had to throw a name out there, if I had to throw somebody out there, I really have always liked Buffini.
Mm-hmm. What's so special about
well, if you look at his program, it is about as close as you get to what I'm doing.
Okay.
It is about referrals. It's about building those relationships. It's about checking on people. Being a RE/MAX person, Buffini was, I think he was endorsed by RE/MAX and all that. And so I've seen a lot of his videos and, seen a lot of his stuff. And so, yeah, if I had to name anybody right now that kind of inspired me from day one, getting into the coaching part of it, it would be Buffini. The real estate niche is such a small niche. You look at YouTube and you look at social media and you look at real estate coaches, and there's not a lot of meat on the bone. It's tough. I mean, you can't really. You could do it. You could get to 1 million subscribers just real estate coaching. It could happen. Nobody's done it yet. Strictly real estate agent coaching. There's some investing real estate channels out there, but strictly real estate agent training and coaching. there's no $1 million subs out there. I mean, million subscriber channels out there.
Or blended channels, to your point, where they're talking some stocks and
Right.
talking some other things. Yeah.
It's really what you have to do if you want to get to the million mark, but it's the niche, you know, it's a niche, really small when you think about it in terms of the world, you know. So it's tough, and there's not a lot of huge players, you know. So
what's your favorite investment? Back into yourself, real estate, stocks? What's your favorite investment?
Really all the above. It just depends on the deal. I love stocks. You know, I love real estate. You know, I like stocks better than real estate, you know.
Really? Tell me why.
Yeah. Well, stocks, man, you don't lift a finger. You literally just click a button. You know, real estate can be the same way. Of course, you can do some things where you don't do anything. I get it.
Yeah, certainly not as easy as buying on your Fidelity app or your, you know, whatever.
Right. You just on your phone, you click two buttons, you see a good deal, you spot it, you know, you look at the risk reward and bam, you know. I don't know. Plus, you know, you can make, you know, 10x on your money in the stock market, you know. There's not a lot of that going on in real estate. You know, so
Ricky, somebody's a good whistler back there. I know we're a little bit over. They whistling you, summoning you back to your next time block?
No, I don't know. They're just whistling. I think it's my mother-in-law.
Nice. You guys got a house full over there in the quarantine?
No, she just came over. She visits once a week.
Cool.
And today's her day, so she's just over here hanging out. And we got the 6-month-old, and you know.
Yeah, congrats on that. I saw that online. Ricky, I appreciate your time, man. I know we went a little bit over. I'd love to do another one of these with you. Things in our industry, while to your point, everything is when you break it down on what you need to do from an agent, brokerage, team, whatever you are, perspective, it is quite simple if you repeat the same steps day after day, the right steps day after day. But overall, our industry is changing so much, you know, as disruption continues to come in. And I'd love to pick your brain, you know, on another one of these on just that, the Zillows and all of the disruption that we've seen over the last 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Great. Ricky, I appreciate your time, man, and be well, be healthy, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching the podcast all the way to the end. If you're enjoying this content, please subscribe to the channel, and better yet, do me a favor and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this particular episode and who you'd like me to talk to next. And don't forget to watch some more podcasts.